Shalom Israel, shalom, shalom, shalom. We are going to go into a breakdown, First Peter. So let's see. So make sure you take notes, because this is going to be a breakdown for understanding, to gain wisdom and knowledge, and how to prepare ourselves, and to acknowledge our customs and ways, and to listen and learn how we are to move in these last days. All right, so we're going to start. All right, whenever you're ready, brother, we're going to break down 1 Peter chapter 1. Everybody there?
Yes, sir.
All right, whenever you're ready, brother. 1 Peter chapter 1 breakdown.
1 Peter chapter 1 breakdown. Verse 1 says, Peter, an apostle of Yahushua Christ, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus. What's that?
Galatia versus Galatians with Galatia.
Galatia,
Cappadocia,
Asia, and
Bithynia. Real quick, we'll take a couple notes real quick. Let's see. Pontus is the kingdom of Persia. Make that note. Pontus is the kingdom of Persia. And Galatia is modern Turkey.
What's that Pontus? What did you say?
Kingdom of Persia.
Thank you.
And Galatia is modern Turkey. Anybody know what Turkey is?
No, not specific. Not
What continent? Nobody know what continent is on?
it's in Europe, right?
Right. It's in Europe. And Cappadocia is central Turkey. Is in central Turkey. That's Cappadocia. Cappadocia is famous for they've been found to have hidden communities under rocks, buried, and they tried to hide them.
I seen that.
Right, houses and communities. That's done here in this country too. There are certain places in this country you have whole cities underground. Edomites did it to Israelites here. They burnt down their towns, destroyed them, and they covered them. You know how much money it takes to cover a whole city? Y'all, everybody seen Rosewood.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
They burnt down those two towns because of what Edomite woman said. You understand?
Yeah.
This is the things that they do. This is how they move. And then when they destroy your town, they pretend like you never existed by covering it up with dirt and mud, and they'll start planting trees right on top of your stuff.
Some towns was flooded. Yeah, turned into lakes.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Right, but that's what the things that they would do to hide, because everybody know what a colonizer is?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right? So these colonizers, everybody know what it is, colonizer? So go ahead.
I was gonna say, explain it to us.
So a colonizer, again, just for those edification of those who don't know. So a colonizer are a group of people that take a group of people from their home and put them somewhere else and plant them there to grow that territory. You ever understand?
Yes, sir.
And in doing so, they take away their identity, their customs, their heritage, and give them new customs. Give them their customs. You understand? Don't nobody move like Edom move. That's how. There's no one worse than Edom. Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
So that's what they would do. And then when they wanted to, they would erase you from off the map. That's why even in this country, as well as other countries, like we're reading about Cappadocia, they find cities and towns and all these houses underneath the ground. A whole city. That is wicked. That is wicked. You think you've done some wicked things. You don't know wicked like Edom. Don't nobody know wicked. No man knows wicked like Edom. I don't care what nationality he is. All the heathen Gentile. There's no Gentile that know wicked like Edom. That's why the Most High said they got to go. That's the only nation that he said must go. Everybody can be washed, but not Edom. The Most High made them. How can you love something that the maker of those people say they're good for nothing but death? How dare you say you love that white man? How dare you say you love that white woman? How dare you say that? If you are a friend of Edom, you are an enemy to who?
God.
Most High.
Does anybody not understand that? If you are a friend to Edom, you are an enemy to your God. Con?
God.
So the strangers that it's talking about in verse 1, who are the strangers? It's talking about verse 1.
The strangers is the Israelites.
Right. The heathen of us, right?
Yes, sir.
Because how do we know that they're heathens?
Because they're not keeping the laws.
But how do we know that in verse 1? What in verse 1 tells us that they are heathen Israelites? What tells us that in verse 1?
Scattered.
Right. They're scattered. They were scattered because they didn't what?
Keep the laws.
Right. Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
And Bithynia is a province of Rome. It's a part of the Roman government in Turkey. It's part of the Roman government, but it's in Turkey.
Okay.
And you said Bithynia?
Right. It's also a province of or government of Rome. It's part of the Roman government in Turkey. It's in Turkey, but it's a part of the Roman government. And it's occupied mostly by Greeks. So these are all Europeans, all Edomites we're dealing with right now in this area.
Okay, and just for Cappadocia, you said that was what?
It's central Turkey.
Century.
That's the one with all those towns and people, government that, other people that they buried. So if someone say to you in verse 1, the scattered throughout these countries, how do you know that it's talking about the Israelites? What if a Christian say that to you? How do you know it's talking about? It says to the strangers scattered throughout these countries. How do you know it's talking about Israel? Can anybody give a precept of how it's talking about Israel? How we know that?
Yes.
Who are the scattered?
The ones that are cursed.
So real quick, let's go to Ezekiel 36. And put this one in that 1 Peter 1 and 1 so you can prove that. It's talking about us. So Ezekiel 36, and we're going to read verse 17.
Ezekiel 36 and verse 17 says, Son of man, when the house of Israel dwelt in their own land, they defiled it by their own way and by their own doings. Their way was before me as the uncleanliness of a removed woman.
Right. So Israel, we were doing our own desires. We stopped keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. That's what that's talking about. And we defiled it by our own way and our own doings. Everybody understand? Mm-hmm. Their way was before me as an uncleanness of a removed woman. So we was like that woman that went out and cheated, came back to the husband still smelling like that stinky next door neighbor she just laid down with. You understand?
Yes, sir.
That's what we did to our God. Read 18.
Wherefore I pour my fury upon them for the blood that they had shed upon the land, and for their idols wherewith they had polluted it.
Right. The Most High is angry with us. Go ahead.
And I scattered them among the heathen.
He did what?
I scattered them among the heathen.
Who did he say he scattered? Who is he talking about? In verse 17.
Son of man,
No. Go ahead.
Oh, the house of Israel.
Right. When they dwelt in their own land, they defiled their own land. So he scattered them because they defiled the land, the law of the land.
Yes, sir.
You understand? The Israelites defiled the law of the land, so the Most High said, I scattered them because of that. So he scattered who?
The house of Israel.
Right. He scattered the house of Israel. Read 18 again.
Wherefore I pour my fury upon them for the blood that they had shed upon the land, and for their idols wherewith they had polluted it.
With our idols and the things that we were doing, and as he's talked about in 17, our own way, our own desires. Go ahead, 19 again.
And I scattered them among the heathen.
He scattered us among the. Where are the heathen located on the world? Are they all over the world?
Yeah, they are.
Because if you're not an Israelite, you're a Gentile, right?
Yes, sir.
You're a heathen. Heathen means of the nations. So if he scattered us among the heathens, he therefore scattered us around the whole globe, right?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
And they were dispersed
Mm-hmm.
through the countries.
So we were dispersed, meaning we were spread out through all the countries, amongst all the heathens, the Moabites, the Ammonites, everybody, all the Hamites. We dispersed amongst all these nations. Go ahead.
Through the countries according to their way and according to their doings I judged them.
Right. So he judged us by doing that to us because of what we did. So the scattered, it tells you, are the Israelites. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
So make sure you put Ezekiel 36, 17 to 19 with 1 Peter 1 and 1. Because if you read that to a Christian, they're going to tell you that the stranger scattered, that could be anybody. So the Most High scattered. So Peter, an apostle of Yahushua the Anointed, to the strangers scattered throughout these places. So Peter is writing a letter to the dispersed Israelites in different countries. That's all verse 1 is saying.
Yes, sir.
Peter is dealing with the Israelites that are scattered throughout the countries of this world. Con?
Con.
All right, let's keep going.
1 Peter 1 and 2 said, 1 Peter chapter 1 verse 2 says, elect according to their foreknowledge. Elect according to the foreknowledge of God the Father through signification of the Spirit unto obedience and sprinkling of the blood of Yahushua Christ. Grace unto you and peace be multiplied.
All right, so let's see what I want to deal with first. So first question I want to ask, who is the elect? Who is the elect?
God's chosen people, the Israelites.
All right, let's prove that too, because a Christian would say, well, who's he talking about? It could be anybody. Let's go to Isaiah 45 and 4. Isaiah 45 and 4.
Isaiah 45 and 8.
And 4.
Isaiah 45 and 4 says, for Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel mine elect, I have called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me.
So according to this precept, who are the elect?
Israel.
Those are the elect. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
So read that 1 Peter 1 and 2 again.
First Peter 1.
So again, it's talking about the strangers who are dispersed throughout the world. That's who he's talking about when he says the elect. He's talking to the elect. An apostle of Yahushua the Anointed to the strangers scattered throughout Europe, the elect according to the foreknowledge. So he's talking to the Israelites who are scattered. He's calling them the elect. Go ahead. Read that 2 again.
Yes, sir. elect according to the foreknowledge of the Father, through sanctification of the Spirit, unto obedience and sprinkling of the blood of Yahushua Christ, grace unto you and peace be multiplied.
Right, and foreknowledge is just knowledge that you knew before. Real quick, go to James 1:1.
Yes, sir. James 1:1. It says, James 1:1. James, a servant of God and of the Lord Yahushua Christ, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting.
So that 12 tribes scattered. Huh?
Khan.
Talking about us, right?
Yes, sir.
So here's a good question to deal with also with a Christian. Read that last sentence starting with grace in verse 2, 1 Peter 1 and 2.
It says, grace unto you and peace be multiplied.
So Peter is dealing with the scattered throughout the world. He's dealing with them. These brothers are writing letters and sending them out. They're making copies with scribes, sending them out, and going to these places, traveling and dealing with us like this. You understand that? And he said, grace unto you and peace be multiplied. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
What does he mean, grace be unto you? What does he mean by that? What is that? What does grace mean?
Peace.
Let's look up that word grace real quick.
Yes, sir.
Because don't Christians say I'm saved by grace?
Yes, sir.
They say that, right? They say, I'm already saved. I'm saved by grace. Let's see what that means. Saved by grace. Let's see what that means. Let's see how dumb they are.
It says, grace, simple elegance or refraining of movement.
Okay, so let's see. We got 7 different definitions in the noun, and we got 2 in a verb. So we know it's a noun
Yes, sir.
because it's a thing. You can't do grace. Grace is given to you. It's a thing, so we know it's a noun. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
Everybody understand that?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
A verb is an action word you do things with. You don't do grace. It's something you give. You give grace. Or I have grace, which means it's a thing.
Yes, sir.
A person, place, thing, or an idea. That's what a noun is. So we know that it's a noun. So let's just go down to where. Let's go down to so let's read number 3. Read number 3 definition in a noun.
Excuse me. You said in the noun?
You know what? Let's read number 1. Yeah, in the noun. Let's read number 1.
Okay. It says simple elegance or refraining of movement.
Refinement of movement. Simple elegance. Okay, let's read number 2.
It says
Curtis.
courteous, goodwill.
Okay, let's go to 3.
He says, in Christian belief, the free and
Merited.
unmerited favor of God and manifest in the salvation of sinners and the bestowal of blessing.
These are all things that they think or believe or want you to think what grace is. Read 4.
A period officially allowed for payment.
Read that again.
A period officially allowed for payment
It's a period of time that's set aside for payment. Go ahead.
of a sum due
It's a time set aside for you to pay something back. Go ahead.
or for compliance
Right.
with a law or condition, especially an extended period granted as a special favor.
So it's grace is a little bit of time that's given to you as a favor to you. I'm gonna give you a little bit of time. That's what grace is. Let's read a couple of similar words real quick.
It says deferment.
Click on that word deferment. Listen to this, Israel. Listen to this. Deferment. This is the first similar word for grace. Go ahead.
It says the action or fact of putting something off to a later time.
So grace and deferment is putting something off to a later time. Does that sound kind of like what the Most High is doing?
Yes, sir.
Right. So let's go to the next one. Let's go to deferral.
Deferral, a postponement of an action or event.
A postponement for something that's going to happen. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
So postponement is the same thing, but click on postponement.
It says the action of postponing something, deferral.
So grace. So your understanding of grace will be in your noun when you look up grace in your noun, but it's going to be the fourth definition. Is what the Most High is talking about. That other stuff's made up by your friendly neighborhood cracker. Had nothing to do with the Most High. So grace, as Peter is telling you, as James is telling you, as Matthew is telling you, grace is a little bit of time to get your stuff together. That's how you're saved, by the little bit of time that you're given to get your stuff together. That's what grace is. You're saved by that. You're saved by that little bit of time that the Most High is going to give you to get your together. That's what it is. Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
Everything else you've been told is a lie. Because we know no one is saved until you endure to the end. That's when you're saved. And also we know that salvation is being saved from who?
Saved from my enemies.
Exactly. That's what the definition of salvation is being saved by your enemy. From your enemy. So like, that makes sense?
Yes, sir.
Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
That's what salvation is. And if you're still amongst your enemy, then you haven't been saved.
Con.
So grace is just a little bit of time to get your stuff together. So their understanding of grace makes no sense. At all. Because we know that we're number one, we're not saved yet. Because Luke 1:68 down to 71 tells you you're delivered out of the hands of your enemy. That's salvation. We haven't been through that yet. We're still, as long as you got the last name of your oppressor, you ain't been saved. Like Yahweh said, as long as you're still paying taxes, you ain't been saved. As long as you ain't seen me from the east to the west crack that sky with what they call UFOs, what we know are chariots, you ain't been saved. Con? So grace is not some mumbo jumbo that they told you it was. Grace is a time period for you to get yourself together. That's what grace is. Let's go back and read that again in 1 Peter 1 and 2.
1 Peter 1 and 2 says, elect according to the foreknowledge of God the Father through sanctification of the Spirit into obedience and sprinkling of blood of Yahushua Christ, grace unto you and peace be multiplied.
Mm-hmm. Y'all understand that? All this juice we got, we only in the second precept. All this juice we got, all this meat and understanding and wisdom. A Christian would just roll right over that stuff and say, I got grace. I'm saved. They wouldn't even understand that. Let's keep going. This is 1 Peter 1, and we're in verse 3.
Verse 3 says, blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Yahushua Christ, which according to his abundant mercy have begotten us again into a lively hope by the resurrection of Yahushua Christ from the dead.
Right. Begotten means raised up or generated. Write that down. That's what begotten means. It means raised up or generated. That is begotten. That's begotten. Raised up or generated. How do we regenerate? Sisters.
Yes, by giving birth.
Go ahead. Say it again.
By multiplying,
What did you say at first?
giving birth.
Right. Procreating. That's how we regenerate, right?
Yes, sir.
So begotten is generating or raising up. The Most High can raise you from the dirt out of the ashes if he wanted to. Remember, he said, I can make sons of Abraham out of what?
Rocks.
Yeah. I can take these stones and rocks and make children of Abraham. You understand that? Right?
Verse 4 says, to an inheritance uncorruptible, incorruptible, and undefiled, and that have fattened not always
Faded.
excuse me, I'm gonna read that again. To an inheritance uncorruptible, to an inheritance
I'm gonna leave it alone.
incorruptible,
Yeah.
and undefiled, and that faded not away, reserved in heaven for you.
So our inheritance can't be messed with. It's there. It's locked. It's perfect. It's there. Our inheritance is there. We got that. All we got to do is what?
Keep the laws, statutes, and commandments.
That's it. Bow down to our God. It's there. It's how what? Can it be any more beautiful than that? I loathe and hate and detest having to go out every morning to work to pick cotton. I hate that lifestyle. I hate that my woman got to go into the kitchen even when she's tired to cook. I hate that our lives is circled around paying bills and bills and bills. I hate that. But the Most High is telling you your inheritance is there. It's already been sold up and sealed. It's there and it's perfect. Ain't nothing gonna touch that. It's incorruptible. It ain't gonna get old, get molded. It ain't gonna get. It's there. Ain't gonna be no rusting going on. It's there. It's there for you. It's there. There's nothing more beautiful. That's a beautiful precept. All you got to do is serve your God, yo. Years ago, I asked my wife. Years ago, I asked her. When we first, I think it was right when we first woke up, or before we woke up. I asked her, "To you, do you see this as a perfect life? We could do all the fun things we want to do and live our life. All we have to do is one day out of the week go to the forest. One day out of the week and deal with the Most High God. Just sit there and listen to Him. One day out of the week. And the rest of 6 days, we can do what we want to do, as long as we're within His laws. But we can do what we want to do. One day out of the week, go and sit in the forest and listen to Him speak for one day." I asked her, "Do that seem hard?" And we both agreed that that's easy. That's pretty easy. Just one day a week. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
The Most High don't ask a lot. It seems like a lot to us because we have been tainted. That's the same thing that, for example, a wicked woman that has to give her kids over to their father every weekend. A wicked woman, she would do things to make it so they don't want to go to the father's house no more. She'll spoil them knowing that it's wicked. She'll spoil them anyway. She done got a new husband. They got a fat house, fat bank account. She gonna do whatever she can to make them hate going to the father's house. So every time they go to the father's house, he gonna serve them beans and vegetables and meat. And he gonna serve them things that are healthy for them. You understand?
Yes, sir.
And a lot of times, he gonna serve them those things because that's all he might be able to afford. Because he's single now. He ain't got nobody. But she done got married to some dude that ain't up no good because she ain't no good. But they got money. And they're supposed to get, every time they go to the father's house, they say, "Ew, Dad, I don't want to eat that. Ew, Dad, how come your house so dark?" Because he's trying to save electricity. He don't want to let you go like that. He's a single man living by himself. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
This is what evil will do. So with us right now, it's to serve the Lord. When you speak to a heathen, an Israelite who don't know the Israel, and tell them about the Shabbat, tell them about doing the commandments, that's a disgusting thing to them. That's a hateful thing to them. Why would I do that? Sit here and read that when I can do whatever I want. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
And the Most High made it that way. He made it that way. He made it that way because they don't want it anyway. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So understand that what we have to work to do, like today, sometimes we may not want to do the Shabbat, sometimes we may not want to do holidays, sometimes we may not want to spend our last dime on some fringes, sometimes we may not want to do charity, sometimes we may not want to open up the book and read, sometimes we may not want to do those things. It's not because it's hard to do, it's because we've been screwed. Every time you think it's too much to keep the Shabbat, to read, anytime you ever feel that way, it's because you have submitted to being screwed. You have to look at it that way. Why? Because it's the truth. At one time, we didn't look at it that way. At one time, we loved this. Who was our first love?
Knowledge.
Wisdom. This was our first love. Wisdom. And she's beautiful. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
But now she's not so beautiful. Because we have eyes, we have Edomite eyes. We're that woman that rather prefer to wear pants. You'd rather be a cross-dresser. And you have to look at it that way. You got to, because it's the truth. You'd rather walk around like a cross-dresser. You're more comfortable as a cross-dresser. You're more comfortable as a cross-dresser. Look at it that way, because it's the truth. It's not because you are bad. It's because you've been screwed by your oppressor to feel that way. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Anytime a man don't want to break scripture down to his wife, he'd rather do something. He'd rather play video games than break scripture down to his wife. He's been screwed. He's been screwed. If he don't want to be the head of his household, he's been screwed. It's funny to me. It's funny to me the way we've been screwed so bad that me and sister, my wife Maya, was going around looking for different places to move. Talking to different people about different apartments and houses, trying to see where we want to move one day soon. And the woman asked us one of the women who we talked to asked us, "Which one of y'all is the head of household?" That's what she asked. Which one of y'all is the head of household? That question, if I had been asked that question 20 years ago, I would have just said me with no problem.
Yeah.
But now hearing that, it sounds wicked, disgusting, almost humorous, and it sounds confusing. What does she mean by that? Now I'm offended. Now it's offensive to me to ask me, between me and my wife, who's the head of the household. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Y'all understand that?
Yes, sir.
So these things, who we used to be, and the characteristics that we used to have, they must begin to sound foreign to you. They must begin to sound foreign. Con? Let the old you be a foreigner to the new you. Let yourself say, I can't believe I used to feel that way. I can't believe I used to do that. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Right. That's who the Messiah is picking up. All right. Let's keep going. 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 5.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Verse 5 says, "Who are kept by the power of God through faith, through salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time."
Now read that again.
Who are kept by the power of God through faith into salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time.
Right. So who are kept by the power of Yahweh God through faith until they get salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time. This is the last time. We're living in the last days. Talking about now. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
So, to inheritance incorruptible and undefiled, and that fadeth not away, reserved in heaven for you. This kingdom is reserved for you, who are kept by the power of Yahweh God. He's talking about you, talking about us, who are kept by the power of Yahweh God through faith. So the Most High Spirit is keeping us in the Spirit until salvation comes, ready to be revealed in the last time. So in the last days, it's going to be revealed that them niggas and spicks are the children of God. That's what's going to be revealed. That them niggas and spicks and them Indians are the children of God. Con?
Con.
All right, let's keep going. 1 Peter 1 and verse 6.
Verse 6 says, "Wherein ye greatly rejoice, through now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptations."
Anybody like to try to break that down? What is manifold?
Many.
Right. So keep that in mind. Manifold is many or multiple. Make sure you write that down. Wherein you greatly rejoice. What are you rejoicing in? It's talking about you rejoicing in the fact that you're going to get salvation.
Yes, sir.
That make sense? Though now for a season, if need be, you are in heaviness through many temptations. So even though you understand, you're waiting, you're happy because you're an Israelite, you're waiting for that kingdom to come, but right now you're miserable. Right now you're dealing with suffering. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Wherein you greatly rejoice in that future that's come, that kingdom to come. You're rejoicing, though now for a season, that's for a small time, if need be, you are in heaviness through many temptations. So right now, you're going to be happy, but you're going to be miserable a little bit because you got to deal with these temptations. You have to. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
For a season. Not long, but for a season you have to suffer in your rejoicing of the kingdom to come.
Con.
Let's get more understanding. Verse 7.
That the trial of your faith, being much more precious,
Precious.
that in the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that
Perished.
perished, through it be tried with fire.
Though.
Let me read it again. That the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, through though it be tried with fire, might be found into praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahushua Christ.
So, number one, your faith is more precious and more valuable than any temporary carnal thing, right?
Yes, sir.
But this is the thing. This is what's been said. You have to prove yourself worthy to Yahushua when he comes back by fighting through your own desires. That's what he's telling you. You have to prove so the things that you're fighting, your temptations, so it's talking about how happy you are about the salvation, but yet you got to suffer and deal with your temptations, right? That's what it's talking about in verse 6 and 7 is saying you have to go through that to prove to Yahushua when he comes back. You have to prove that you are worthy by fighting through your own desires. That makes sense to everybody?
Yes, sir.
That the trial of your faith, the way you're going to be tested in your beliefs, being much more precious than gold. Your belief is more precious than gold. How much faith you have is what you should be measuring. Stop measuring how much money you got in your account more than how much faith you have in your God. Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
That the trial of your faith being much more precious than gold, though it's going to be tried with fire, though you're going to be tested. You're going to be tested. You're going to have those wicked desires. Might be found unto praise. That's what's going to give you that praise, that battle through those fires, and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahushua. You're either going to be scared to death when he come, or you're going to have glory when he come. That's it. There ain't but two doors. Ain't but two doors. Every day ask yourself, have I done today what I need to do today to prove I'm not fit for destruction and death? Have I done that today? You gotta ask. If you're not asking yourself that every day, I'm gonna let everybody answer this question or finish this sentence. If you're not doing that, if you're not proving yourself worthy every single day, then you are a what? Whatever you want to call it.
Heathen.
You are a damn heathen. Sister Nyla, you are what? If you don't respect your God enough to do what you're supposed to do this day or any day to prove you deserve not destruction, and deserve everlasting life, if you don't do that, you are a what? Any word you want to use.
An unfit Israelite.
You are unfit. If you refuse to serve your God and prove yourself, you're unfit. You're a heathen. Sister Mike, if you do not take the time to prove to that you deserve the kingdom, you are a what?
Sodish.
You are sodish. You are stupid and dumb as hell. Why would you be that way when he's telling you, I'm coming? Get yourself together. I'm coming. Right?
Yes, sir.
Get yourself together. If you're not doing this every day, do it every day, y'all. Because like King Solomon said, if you're still breathing, but these are my words, but I'm paraphrasing, completely, totally paraphrasing. If your dumb ass still breathing, you still got a chance. King Solomon said, don't wait till you're in the grave to try to make up, because you can't then. King Solomon said, once you're in the grave, it's done. It's done. It's done. Just like the teacher in a test, a quiz y'all taking, and once they close that book, said, it's done. Put your pencils down. Ain't nothing you can do about that. Put your pencils down. How dumb can you be? You sitting there the whole time and you thinking about your boyfriend or your girlfriend, you taking a test that's going to determine whether or not you passed for the year or not. How stupid can you be? How much more stupid do you have to be to do that to your God? That's madness. That's madness. Brother, if you see me going off, say, Yaakov, what the fuck are you doing? That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
If I go out and I see you doing some wild stuff, I'm gonna say, Tevin, what the fuck are you doing? Con? I beg you do that to me. Don't let me go off. Don't let me go off. You understand that? Y'all really understand this?
Yes.
This is life and death. And death, we're talking about destruction from the hand of God. We're not talking about a bullet in the head. When the Most High get to the 2/3, a bullet in the head is like a walk in the park on a Sunday. That's what it's going to be like. It's going to be compared to that nothing. A bullet in the head ain't going to be nothing compared to the Most High taking his son, his right hand, to destroy you. That 1 hour, I'm inclined spiritually to believe that 1 hour of destruction will be a lifetime. It ain't going to be quick and easy. It ain't going to be quick and easy. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Because if the Most High is telling you, okay, so the Most High telling you don't fear somebody that can just put a bullet in your head. Don't fear that person. Because that ain't nothing. Don't fear that. That ain't nothing. If the Most High says you getting trained or getting chained to a car and torn into different pieces, if he say don't sweat that. If your God says don't sweat that, if you got 4 cars pulling you in 4 different directions, and they did this to us. They took 4 horses and split us apart. If your God said don't sweat that, that ain't nothing. That ain't nothing. But when I get a hold of you, that's going to be something. If you don't keep this commandment, when I get a hold of you, that ain't going to be nothing. Y'all understand that?
Yes, sir.
So don't think if I don't keep the commandment, the Most High is just going to kill me and I come back in the kingdom. No, it ain't going to be like that. That 1 hour he's talking about is not necessarily 1 hour. It's just going to be done swiftly. So keep in mind that I'm inclined to believe that 1 hour destruction is like a lifetime. It's like a lifetime. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Keep that in mind. Don't tempt the Father. Don't tempt him.
That made me think about when I used to get whoopings,
Mm-hmm.
and after the whooping, it felt like a long time, but then
So longer than what it was, yeah.
when you go back and look, you like, man, that was only 2 or 3 minutes.
But when you were going through it, it felt like half a day.
Forever,
Yeah.
yeah.
Felt like you get a whoop for half a day. And you remember it for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
You still remember your whoopings?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That lasts and lasts and lasts. You remember that for 20 years. I remember my greatest whooping. I remember that. Yeah, that don't go away. So how much more is the Father's punishment compared to man's punishment? You understand that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's keep going. 1 Peter 1 and with verse 8.
Yes, sir. Verse 8 says, whom having not seen ye love,
Mm-hmm.
in whom though now ye see him not, yet believing, ye rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of glory.
Right. So you're getting praised because you believe in the God you ain't never seen before. You believing on him. You believing on his son who you've never sat down with in your mind. You sat with him spiritually, but not in this body, not in your remember. Because remember, the Most High said that when you regenerate, you don't remember your past life. You don't remember sitting down with Yahweh, but yet you still go to him. You're still reading Yahweh's words. All praises.
All praise.
All praise. That's what Peter's saying. All praises. You're actually sitting down and reading his words. You're showing him you love him. You understand?
Yes, sir.
And you never even seen him. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Everybody under this roof is showing honor to their God, to their Lord, and we never even seen him. Ever. The only thing we got is the Spirit of the Most High. That's it. And that's enough. That's enough. Con? Let's keep going. 1 Peter 1 and 9.
Verse 9 says, receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your souls.
Right. So what you're doing is you are doing this in order to receiving the end of your faith. So at the end of doing what we're doing, at the end of that reward, is the kingdom. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
It's only, even the salvation of your soul. It's only the salvation of your soul. That's what it is. You're doing this, receiving the end of your faith. The end of your faith, the payment of your faith. Payday, Friday, when Friday comes, you get paid after your faith is proven. That's what it's talking about. Receiving the end of your faith, which is your reward of everlasting life. Even the salvation of your souls. That's what you're getting paid with. The receiving of the end of your faith is receiving salvation of your soul. That's what 9 is telling you. You're going to get paid. Yahweh Shai is big on saying that. Yahweh Shai is big on saying your work ain't going to be in vain. It's not. Don't think it is. Sometimes why is Yahweh Shai saying that? Your work is not going to be in vain for nothing. He's saying that because he knows that sometimes you feel that way. Mm-hmm. You feel that way. You feel that way sometimes, that you're working in vain. Man, I really don't want to do Shabbat today, man. I kind of sort of want to, sit back and chill today or do something nice with my rib. He know you're thinking like that sometimes. But the fact that you said, no, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to go ahead and do it. That's you working for that reward. That's not you being off. You're not off because you think that way. You're not wicked because you think that way. You're wicked when you listen and don't show up for the Shabbat. You're wicked when that voice is louder than this voice. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
Everybody in here got an excuse or a reason not to make the Shabbat. Everybody. We all do. But we're here. That's all that matters. That's what Yahweh Shai is saying. That's what counts. That's what counts. We are proving that we believe it. We're proving to Yahweh Shai right now that we believe what he's saying, that you're not working in vain for nothing. Ain't nobody in here getting a damn dime for what we're doing right now. Not a dime. So what are we doing it for? We're doing it because we believe him. That's why. We believe him. That's why we're here. Come. We believe him. When Yahweh Shai come back, a mad black man, I want to be able to look in those big scary eyes and say, I did the best I can. I did the best I can. The best I can. Everybody feel that way in your heart. If you don't feel that way, do something. Do something. Do something. If you don't feel that way today, damn it, do something. It's that serious. It's that serious. Because if you're not thinking that way, if you're not feeling that way, you are a lukewarm nigga. If you don't feel you're doing everything you can, you are a lukewarm nigga. And he's not picking up lukewarm. Those are the ones he's going to spit out. Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do something. Do something. All right, let's keep going. This is 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 10.
Verse 10 says, of which salvation the prophets have inquired and searched diligently, who prophesied of the grace that should come unto you.
Right. So we'll be given this knowledge as an act of grace. It's coming as an act of grace. It lets you know that we're in where we are in this thing today. Because this is the day that grace comes. Grace. So grace wasn't 50 years ago. Nobody understood these things. How can you have grace when you understand these words? This is the first time in the first few years that the whole globe was able to come together and understand, wow, we know who people are in the Bible now. We know that. That's how we know we're in grace right now. Because the prophecies are today. They weren't in my mother's day. The prophecy wasn't unfolding then. They're unfolding now, in this day. Come. So read that again.
Verse 10 says, of which salvation the prophets have inquired and searched diligently.
So ever since we started in these things, the prophets have always asked questions and they searched for the truth. We didn't always have this truth, but we always search for the truth. Go ahead.
Who prophesied of the grace that should come unto you.
The grace is that period that you have to get yourself together. And you can only get yourself together when you understand what's going on. You got to understand what's going on first. You got to know, somebody got to say to you, you're an Israelite. Once that's happened, when you are hearing it, that's from the grace start. Come. You can't give somebody grace, they don't know what's going on. How can you give somebody grace when they're not even in debt yet? You got to be in debt first and know you're in debt. Your company have to say, okay, so your due date is right here. I can't do it right there. I can't do it. Okay, so now that you know when your due date is and what's going on, that we're going to come and get it. If you don't get it right, we're going to give you 5 days to get it right. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
They can't give you 5 days to get it right if you don't know that grace has begun. Y'all understand that?
Yes, sir.
They will tell you your grace is starting right after the due date. That's when your grace starts. This is where it ends. There is a time and a measurement for your grace. Here and there, that's your grace period. Now you know that. Now when we come and get it, ain't gonna be no questions asked. The same with this. The grace don't start. The grace didn't start 50 years ago because we didn't know anything about this. Now that we know across, and this is not, I'm not talking about Charlotte. We know in Charlotte, we know in North Carolina, we know on the East Coast or the West Coast, we know in this country. Everybody on the globe, you can go on YouTube right now, everybody on there's not one continent where you don't see Israelites teaching. Not one continent. You are in that grace period. You are in the last days. These are the days of Noah. What was Noah doing? Y'all gonna die. Y'all gonna die if y'all don't come with me and help me build this ark so you can get in. If you don't, you're gonna die. We're in the days of Noah. Y'all gonna die. That's the time we're living in. That's the grace. Come on. Let's keep going. And this is what the prophets are telling us these things. The prophets are telling you you're going to die if you don't keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. You're going to die. Let's keep going.
Verse 11 says, searching what matter of time the Spirit of Christ, which was in them, did signify, when it testified beforehand the suffering of Christ and the glory that shall follow.
Read it one more time.
Searching what manner of time the Spirit of Christ, which was in them, did signify, when it testified beforehand the suffering of Christ and the glory that should follow.
Okay. The word signify just means show. Write that down in your notes. The word signify is show. So the prophets of old are here today. They're seeking out the Lord, just like we've always done. They're seeking out the Lord, the truth. And they're prophesying among us all about how Yahushua suffered and the salvation to come. This is what this is talking about. The prophets are still here. The prophets of old are here today, and they're teaching and proclaiming the kingdom to come, as well as how the Yahushua suffered for us, not for the world, but for us. For us. Come. Let's keep going. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 12.
12 says, unto whom it was revealed that not unto themselves, but unto us they did minister the things, which are now reported unto you by them that have preached the gospel unto you with the Holy Ghost sent down from heaven, which things the angel desired to look into.
Right. So the prophets, they didn't keep the word amongst themselves. They teach it to all of us. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
That's what they do to understand it. And even the angels, read that part again.
Preach the gospel unto you with the Holy Ghost sent down from heaven, which things the angels desire to look into.
So we're getting information and wisdom that the angels want. They want what we're getting. Y'all understand that? The angels are seeing what the Most High has given us, which is this understanding and this wisdom. This knowledge, understanding, and the wisdom. Angels are even looking at that, saying, wow, we want some of that. Because keep in mind, the angels that are in the third heaven, they have one job each. They're angels day and night. They never move. They are all around about the Most High, His throne. All they do is this and praise Him. That's all they do. That's all they do. That's what they were created for. They don't sleep. They don't eat. They don't think about nothing but that. Even and there's a host and host and host of angels, and they are looking at what He's doing with us with this wisdom, and they want some of that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. What He's giving them. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
He's given. So we're being poured with the Spirit of our God is being poured onto us. Remember, the Spirit. This is the Spirit right here. The Word of the Most High God. This is the Holy Spirit. And the understanding that we're getting from this is what the angels are looking at. The understanding. Y'all understand that?
Yes, sir.
The angels are seeing. So, right, by itself, these are just words. On a carnal level, these are just words. But we know, we read the book of John 6 and 63, we understand that these words are the Holy Spirit of the Most High God. This is the comforter that Yahweh Shai says is going to be better than me. Why? Because remember, Yahweh Shai, we read in Matthew didn't write it, but Mark wrote how he was trying to hide from us, or not us, but the Israelites. He was trying to hide from those people that he was teaching. He was trying to hide from everybody he was teaching because he was tired. He needs some rest. So that's why he said the comforter or the spirit he's going to leave behind him was better because this doesn't sleep. Con? But these are just on a carnal level, just word. But the Most High, his spirit in these things. It wasn't in this thing 50 years ago. 50 years ago, your mother didn't understand these. Your grandmama didn't understand these words. None of our grandparents understand these words. Not until the Spirit of the Lord into this book. In its due time. It is due time. This is the most complicated, confused book in the world. It is the most hidden book of more secrets than any other book on the planet. There are more secrets and hidden treasures in this book than any books combined. And we read it like a damn comic book. Understand that. Nations did whatever they wanted to do to us because of this, the knowledge that they had. The little bit they had, just a little bit they had. That little bit of knowledge of this book was how they found, that's how they found his tribe. It told them about the narrow passages in the North Country. It's in here. It told those people how to get to his people. They knew he was in the Americas, in the North Country. They knew he was here. They used this book to find his people, his tribe, our people. You understand that? The Most High put his spirit in this book, which he had not done for our forefathers. But he's here now in the last days. This is the spirit of the Lord. This is, like Yahweh said, is better than him because day and night is always there. Con? All right. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 13.
Yes, sir. Verse 13 says, wherefore gird up the loins of your mind, be sober.
Get yourself together. Straighten up. Straighten up. Focus. That's what he's saying.
And hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Yahweh Shai Christ.
Revelation of Yahweh Shai is the revealing. When that sky crack open. So get yourself together. That's what it means by gird up your loins and be sober. Get yourself together. Because when somebody knock on your door, first thing you do, you fix your clothing. Con?
Yes, sir.
You don't want to go to the door looking any kind of way. Somebody knock on your door, first thing you do is make sure you're presentable. Get yourself together. That's what's been said to you right now. Get yourself together and hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revealing of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
Get yourself together.
Verse 14.
1 Peter chapter 1, verse 14. Go on.
Verse 14 says, as obedient children, not fashioning yourselves according to the former lust in your ignorance.
As obedient children, not fastening yourselves according to the former lust in your ignorance. So don't be like that dirty old nasty you. Don't be like that nigger spick Indian you. Kill that person. Kill one. Listen. Before I woke up and knew who I was, I loved being that heathen that I was. I enjoyed being the heathen that I was. But after I woke up, I killed that nigga. I murdered that nigga. I stalked that nigga. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
There was a time I was an opposer of God and didn't know it. I loved anybody. I don't care who you were, what race you are. I loved you. I love you. That's a coon nigga. That's a coon nigga. Your God say separate from them people. Separate from them. And we loved them. The same people that did anything they want to us. And we loved them. The same people that called you a savage. Same people that called me a nigga. Nigga. Spick. We love these people. before we knew who we were. We loved them. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Whether they Edomite, Bruce Lee, didn't matter. We love them. That's hatred of your own nation. And even further, and even more important, that's hatred to your own God. I'd be damned if my son gonna sit in my fucking house and be friends with my enemies. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Somebody shoot my brother and we enemies. And my son tomorrow, well, that's my buddy. Even if he didn't kill my brother, he shot my brother in the back or shot him in the leg. Now my brother walked with a limp and my son lives in my house and that's his friend. A friend of my enemy is my enemy. An enemy of my God is a sworn enemy. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do not I hate thee who hate my God. That's what our brothers say. Our forefathers said that. Do not I hate thee who hate my God. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Let's go to Ephesians 4 real quick. Ephesians 4, we're going to start at 22.
Ephesians 4 verse 22 says that ye put off concerning the former conversation of the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust.
You understand that? That you put off concerning the former conversation, the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust, your own desires. Kill that nigga dead. The you that want to do your own thing and live your own life and YOLO, you only live once attitude, kill that nigga spick Indian. Keep reading.
And be renewed in the spirit of your mind.
And be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Keep going.
And that ye put on the new man, which is after God, is created in righteousness and in true holiness.
Mm-hmm. What is true holiness? Somebody give me, and there's no right or wrong answer to this, it's just an understanding of this. What is true holiness?
True separation.
Yes. It's when you're not one of them half and half niggas. It's true separation. Separate from your enemies. It doesn't mean you can't go to work with your enemies. It doesn't mean you can't live in the same apartment complex with your enemies. It means you no longer live by their doctrine. You no longer live by their ways. You no longer are hand in hand with your enemy. That makes sense, everybody?
Yes, sir.
True, real, honest separation. Separate thyself from her. Her is Babylon. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
Let's keep going. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 15.
First Peter chapter 1 verse 15 says, but as he which have called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation.
Be holy in all manner of conversation. A Christian will tell you, if you tell a Christian you're holy, they'll tell you blaspheme. If you tell a Christian that you're a holy person, they will say you are a blaspheming, wicked liar. You are a liar. Read that again.
But as he which have called you is holy.
God is the one, the Most High God Yahweh is the one that called us. He is holy. Go ahead.
So be ye holy.
So be who?
Ye holy.
So be you. So you be holy. Go ahead.
In all manner of conversation.
So if God tells you to be holy and you tell a Christian that you're a holy person and they call you a blasphemer, that's wicked. How can they call you a blasphemer when your own God told you to be holy? They don't even know what the word means. They're accusing you of being a blasphemer. Your God say be holy. Keep reading.
Because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy.
It is written, be holy, because I'm holy. Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
Let me get a precept on that. Let's go to Let's go Leviticus 11:44. Leviticus 11:44. Sister Nyla,
Yes, sir.
can a man be holy?
Yes.
Sister Maya, can a woman be holy?
Yes.
Leviticus 11:44.
You just gotta set yourself apart.
Exactly.
Leviticus 11:44 says, "For I am the Lord Yahweh your God. Ye shall therefore sanctify yourselves, and ye shall be holy, for I am holy. Neither shall ye defile yourself with any manner of creeping thing that crept upon the earth."
That creepeth upon the earth.
Creepeth.
All right. Let's go to 19 in Leviticus 19:2.
Verse 19:2. It says, "Speaking to all the congregation of the children of Israel, and saying to them, Ye shall be holy, for I, the Lord Yahweh your God, am holy."
Mm-hmm. If we can't be holy, why is our God telling us to be holy? Why? Because we already know we can be perfect. So why can't we be holy? A Christian will call you a blasphemer. Let's go to Revelation 22:11.
Revelations 22:11 says, "He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still."
Right. Let's go back to Leviticus 20:26. Let's get the definition of what holy is. Leviticus 20:26.
Leviticus 20:26 says, "And ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord Yahweh God, am holy. And I have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine."
So remember, the Most High always, he loves to define his words within the same verse. So he's telling you what holy means. Holy means to be severed or cut off from other people, other nations, other nationalities. He's saying that's what holy means. When you separate yourself, that's what it means. And why is it important to be holy, to separate? Let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 6. And let me see. We're going to read verse 17. This is why it's important to be holy.
2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17 says, "Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you."
So, if you separate yourself from the Gentiles and the heathen, and touch not the unclean thing, whether that be pork or a nasty white woman, the Most High is going to receive you. Separate, for become holy, and I'll receive you. Becoming holy means you are keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. Holy means you're keeping the Shabbat. Holy means you're not doing things that the heathens are doing. Holy means you're not following after their customs and traditions. That's what holy means. Holy means that you're separate and cut off for the Lord. You're his people. That's what holy means. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and read verse 18. Just because I love it.
"And I will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, saith the Lord Yahweh God Almighty."
Sons and daughters. You understand that? All right, let's go back to 1 Peter. Where did we leave off in 1 Peter chapter 1?
14. 15.
Okay. All right, so we're picking up at 16, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 1 Peter chapter 1, picking up at verse 16.
17.
17?
Yeah, we heard.
Okay. Okay. 17.
It. 17 says, "And if ye call on the Father, who without respect of persons judgeth according to every man's work, pass the time of your sojourning here in fear.
Read that one more time.
And if ye call on the Father, who without respect of persons judgeth according to every man's works, pass the time of your sojourning here in fear."
So if you choose to return to the Most High, who does not esteem any man above another, walk your walk in fear. Let me say that again. If you choose to turn back to the Most High God, who does not esteem one man above another, walk your walk in fear. Because he's going to deal with you according to your works. That's what it's saying right here in 17. Read that again.
It says, "And if ye call on the Father, who I without respect of excuse me. And if ye call on the Father, who without respect of person judgeth according to every man's work, pass the time of your sojourning here in fear.
Everybody understand that? Go ahead.
For as much as ye know that ye were not redeemed with corruptible things, as silver and gold, from your vain conversation, received by tradition from your fathers,
Okay. Go ahead.
but with the precious blood of Christ, as of a lamb without blemish and without spot.
So 18 and 19 is saying we weren't bought back with carnal things like money. We weren't redeemed or bought back with those things. That's crap. That's nothing. But we were bought and redeemed back by the death and the horrible murder of Yahushua as a human, innocent, perfect lamb. That's how we were brought back. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to read that again, 18, 19. For as much as you know that you were not redeemed with corruptible things as silver and gold from your vain conversations received by tradition from your fathers, but you were bought back or you were redeemed with the precious blood of Yahushua, the anointed. Just like you would do a lamb that had no blemish or no spot. Because he did nothing wrong. He didn't do nothing wrong. Con? That's how we were brought back into the fold. Because remember, we're that dirty, dirty, dirty wife who went out and slept with that nasty, filthy Edomite. And now we want to come home. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 21. Was it 20?
It's 20. Who verily was foreordained. Excuse me. Who verily was foreordained before the foundation of the world, but was manifest in these last times for you.
Right, so Yahushua was assigned to do this. He was assigned to do this way before the foundation of the world was even made. He was ordained to be put to death before the earth was even formed. He was ordained and assigned a job to do, and he knew what he had to do before the earth was made. He was going to be put to death. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
He was going to have to become human, which means a colored man on this earth, and be put to death. He knew that before there was dirt. Because remember, the earth was created, it had no form. It was just water. Nothing but water. Nothing but just water. Oxygen. Some hydrogen. That's it. Before the earth was made, he already knew his job. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
And he was manifest, which means he was made in the flesh. He was made in the flesh in these last time for you, Israel. You understand that? He wasn't made in the flesh just so he could see what it's like to be a nigga. He was made in the flesh so he could do what he needed to do to get us. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Let's keep going. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 21.
Who by him do believe in God that raised him up from the dead and gave him glory, that your faith and hope might be in God.
Mm-hmm. So we believe in the Most High God because of Yahweh Shai doing what he did. We have belief. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Who by him do believe in Yahweh God that raised him from the dead and gave him glory, that your faith and hope might be in Yahweh God. He did that for us. We know that he died for us. What book, chapter and verse tell us that he died for us?
Matthew
Anybody?
15:24.
Amos 3, 1 and 2.
What book, chapter and verse tell us that Yahweh Shai died for Israel?
Matthew.
It's Matthew.
Matthew.
No.
It's not Matthew.
Y'all talking about who he came for?
Yeah.
We're talking about who he died for.
Oh, John. No.
Acts 5, 29 to 31.
Oh,
That's your favorite one.
I know.
Everybody understand?
Yes.
Right. You can put that in 1 Peter 1, 21. And then you can go to Acts 5, 29 and 31 and put in 1 Peter 1, 21 to kind of put them together. Or you can just write them down, and then when you can go back, you can switch them, put them in each precept.
Acts 5:31.
Acts 5, and you can put it in verse 31. So 1 Peter 1 and 21, definitely a precept that goes with that. Con?
Con.
And also for the Christians, who is Peter dealing with in this letter?
He's dealing with the Israelites.
How do we prove that? Go to the first verse.
Yes, sir.
Verse number 1. You see where it says the strangers?
Yes, sir.
Right? And if you didn't, you want to add that Ezekiel 36 and 17 to show that scattered is Israel. So it shows again that who he died for. So not only Acts 5, 29, 30 to the 1 shows who he died for, this shows in Peter 1 and 21 who he died for. You use verse 1 and you use Ezekiel 36, 17 to 19 to show who he died for, Israel. So this is backs up as another witness for Acts 5 and 31. This is another backup, another witness. Con?
Praise God.
All praises. All right. So 1 Peter chapter 1, and we're in verse 22. Take your time.
22 says, 1 Peter 1 and 22 says, seeing ye have purified your souls in obeying the truth through the Spirit unto
Unfeigned.
unfeigned love of the brethren. See that ye love one another with a pure heart fervently.
Fervently. Right. Unfeigned is not fake, remember. Can we say feigned or fiend? Unfeigned is not fake or sincere. Make sure you put that. Unfeigned is not fake or sincere. And fervent is passionately or wholeheartedly. In this case, it would be wholeheartedly. Fervent is passionately or wholeheartedly.
Say that fervent one more time.
Passionately or wholeheartedly.
Right, passionately or wholeheartedly. Let's see if we can get the right pronunciation for that word. I don't want to butcher it. Fiend. Unfiend.
Unfeeling. Not fake or fear.
Right. Or sincere.
Sincere?
Right. Unfeigned is not fake or sincere. That's what unfeigned is. Not fake. So unfeigned means sincere. Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
Unfeigned is sincere. Seeing you have purified your souls in obeying the truth through the Spirit unto unfeigned love of the brethren, of the brothers. See that you love one another with a pure heart, fervently or wholeheartedly loving one another. All right, 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 23.
Verse 23 says, being born again, not of corruptible seed, but of incorruptible by the word of God, which live and abide forever.
Right, so we were born by man's seed, by man's sperm. That's how we were born the first time, right?
Yes, sir.
Being born again, not of corruptible seed, not with the seed of man when we were born, but incorruptible. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
By the word of Yahweh. So we've been born by this. This is how we've been reborn. See what I'm holding up? This is what we were reborn by this, right? Which live and abide forever. Go ahead. Verse 24.
Why did he do that? Okay. For all flesh is as grass, and all the glory of man as flower of grass. The grass withered, and the flower thereof falleth away.
Right. So for all flesh is as grass. So every flesh, every human being is he's equating it to nothing but like grass. It's no different than grass. And all the glory of man as flower of grass. So you as a human being, and the grass withereth and flower therefore falleth away. So when you die, so when the grass dies, the flower dies. So when you die, everything that you hold up here, esteem high, it's gonna die too. That's gonna die too. Because the flower is the glory of that grass. When the grass grows, it's just grass. But then a flower bloom, okay, it's beautiful. You understand?
Yes, sir.
But when that grass dies, that flower goes with it. So when you die, everything that you worked for, everything that you built, everything that you tried to store, bye-bye. You understand?
Yes, sir.
You ain't gonna take it with you. Whatever reputation you built up, it ain't gonna last long. It ain't gonna last long. Nobody talks about Beethoven's music no more. They don't. Michael Jackson been dead for like what, maybe 20 years, or a little bit less than 20 years.
A little bit less.
We're talking about him less and less and less. We're making him out to be a joke and a mockery, but nobody's talking about how good he was, how much of a genius he was, how smart he was, how good. Nobody's talking about that. New music, new day, right?
Yes, sir.
When you die, your glory goes bye-bye. It goes bye-bye. Who's talking about King Solomon right now? Nobody but us. Nobody cares about King Solomon. Nobody cares about King David. Nobody cares. These were great, mighty men. And nobody's talking about them. Same thing. How much less are they going to be talking about y'all? Right?
Right.
If we're not talking about King Solomon dominated the whole earth at one time. And don't nobody even talk. Most people don't even know he was a so-called black man. That's how far from him the earth has become. That's how cut off that man has become on the earth. They think he was a white man. Or he's olive. Look like a Middle Eastern. That's what they think. What about Yahushua? When Yahushua died, he died as a dark-skinned brother. But now he's a white man. When you die, your glory dies. Simple. Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. That's what it's telling you in 24. For all flesh is as grass, and all the glory of man as the flower of grass. The grass withereth, and the flower thereof falleth away. When the grass dies, the flower dies. When you die, your glory dies. Go ahead.
Can I add something to that?
Mm-hmm.
Because it is in my mind, it's making me think of like a married couple, mother and father of their marriage, like to them together. And it always, when that couple is strong, if one of them, if the man passed, the wife was like shortly behind him.
It happens a lot. It happens a lot.
Same with the if the wife passed first, then the husband is like
Right.
not too far behind.
Right. And as the Most High say, they are one. Just like that flower and that grass are one, the husband and wife are one. So when one die, a lot of times you see the other one die. Con? Most High ain't no joke. All praise on bringing that up. I didn't even think about that. All praise on that. That's some wisdom.
Praise to the Most High.
All praise. Right? So we're 1 Peter 1st chapter, and with the last verse is 25.
Verse 25 says, "But the word of the Lord endureth forever, and this is the word which by the gospel is preached unto you."
But the word of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, endureth forever. And this is the word which by the gospel is preached unto you. So the gospel that we are teaching and preaching throughout all of Israel is the word of our Heavenly Father. It's His words, not our words. These are His words. We're teaching the gospel, the truth. 1 Peter 4:11. We're not speaking our own words. Con? Right. All right. So with that, that's the breakdown of 1 Peter chapter 1. With that, we say Shalom.
Shalom.
Wow.